Most people think weight loss is just a math problem. Just count your calories, bro. It's calories in versus calories out. And technically, yes, there is some truth to that, and math matters. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. If your diet makes you hungry all day long and you're just thinking about food all day, you'll never stay in a deficit long enough to actually get lean and actually lose the body fat in a fun and sustainable way. Because just counting your calories doesn't get you lean, but sticking to the plan does. And that, unfortunately, is where most people go wrong. And that's where most people fail. So I have coached hundreds of busy men who used to yo-yo diets every year, especially during the holidays now, from Thanksgiving, during the Christmas time. And every single guy who finally got lean did it the same way. Not by starving themselves, but by following the Barbarian diet, which is a very simple whole food system that absolutely crushes your hunger and keeps you full while burning body fat. Now, by the end of this video, you'll understand why calorie counting alone will never be enough and why eating like a barbarian is the secret weapon that makes fat loss feel almost automatic. So if you guys have been watching my journey and my clients' journey, you notice that I pretty much stay lean year round. Like I've maintained 10 to 12% body fat year round. I've competed in 3 bodybuilding shows and I ran 3 marathons as well. And I just did my high rocks competition last week. So I've done a lot of like sporting events, but my diet has been very, very fun. I don't restrict myself too much. And I've been able to, once again, maintain a lean, athletic, powerful physique pretty much year round without starving myself. So in today's video, we're going to break it down into 3 simple points. Number 1, why calorie tracking alone fails 90% of people. Number 2, why whole foods beat processed foods every single time. And then lastly, how the Barbarian diet helps even the busiest of guys, dads, career-driven men get lean without feeling hungry or deprived all the time. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight into it. Starting with points number 1, why calorie counting alone fails. So here's the harsh truth. Calorie counting tells you where you are, but it doesn't help you stay there. So think of it like having a map but with no fuel. You can track your 1,700 calorie target all day long, but if your stomach feels like a black hole and you're constantly like just craving and it's just screaming at you, you're not going to be able to stick to it, right? Because if you're constantly hungry, it just makes it impossible to stick to your calorie deficit, because being hungry is the number 1 thing that breaks people's diets. It's not the lack of discipline. It's not the lack of knowledge. Like I'm assuming most people watching this right now, you know that in order to lose body fat, you got to be in a calorie deficit. You got to eat less. You got to move more. Everyone knows this. We live in an information society. You can go on ChatGPT. You can literally have it figure out how many calories do I eat, how many macros, like how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats. Like you can search this up. So it's not the lack of knowledge that you're lacking. It's not the lack of discipline. And it's definitely not the not wanting it bad enough, because I assume most people watching this right now, like we all want 6-pack abs. We all want to lose body fat. Who doesn't want to lose body fat? Every single client that I've helped get lean, get shredded, they've never regretted getting into better shape. You have more energy. You feel more productive. You increase your earning capacity by working longer, more productive hours. You're able to be more present for your friends, for your family. You're able to keep up with your children. You're able to explore the world, go on more date nights. Just nothing really bad happens by you getting into better shape. But the reason why most people fail their fat loss diets is because of hunger. Hunger, hunger, hunger. Hunger wins every single time. So just to share with you guys a personal story, when I did my bodybuilding preps, so once again, I've done 3 bodybuilding shows. My first one was in July of 2021. So a couple of years ago, and then I did just 2 this past year. But when I did every single prep, I tracked every single calorie down to the gram using my digital food scale. And guess what? I was miserable. I was food focused. I was low in energy. I was cold all the time. I was shivering. I had no emotion either. I wasn't laughing. I wasn't crying. I was just like pretty much like this zombie, this walking zombie who just had no emotion, right? Low sex drive, low libido, like everything. And the hunger literally consumed my thoughts. I got shredded, but it was not sustainable at all. Now, most people quit long before they even get there. Now, when it comes to one of my clients, Jeffrey, he actually tried calorie counting on his own for years. Like he literally counted every single calorie, every single macro for years. And he always lasted around 7 to 10 days and then binged every single weekend. Like who can relate with this, right? You're on track with your diets Monday through Friday. You're on top of it. You're on a good routine, good schedule. But then when the weekend comes around, it just kind of slaps you in the face and you're like, boom, I go out with my friends. We go on a date night. I go to the bar. I have some beer, I have some pizzas, I have some burgers with the boys, whatever it may be. And now why do you do this? Why did Jeff do this specifically? Because he filled his macros with mainly just processed stuff. He was eating protein bars during the week. He was eating diet ice creams. He was eating like chips, low calorie breads, and 100%. Like it all technically fit within his calories for the day. But none of it, and here's the thing, I really want you guys to pay close attention to this. Just because it can fit within your daily calories and macros does not mean it's going to keep you full. And once again, what is the reason why most people fail their fat loss diets is due to hunger. So if you are filling up your diet with foods that do not keep you full and actually make you hungrier, like I don't know about you guys, but every single time I eat like something that's hyper palatable, super processed, whether it's cookies, pizzas, burgers, fries, it just makes you want to eat even more, right? Like you're never truly satisfied after eating one cookie or a handful of chips or a small little serving size of an Oreo. Like if anything, it makes you even hungrier because for a lot of people, it actually triggers a response in your body to make you want to eat even more. Whereas if you were to take the exact same amount of calories from that food and were to replace that with more whole foods, which we'll talk about later on, it's going to keep you fuller for longer. You're not going to be as hungry. It's going to keep you nice and satiated, and you're going to feel nice and energized to just carry on with the rest of the day and not be as food focused. Like imagine eating 200 calories worth of Oreos versus 200 calories worth of eggs or a chicken salad. I have never in my life heard anyone say, oh, I just binged on my diet. I'm like, oh, okay, what did you binge on? Oh, I binged on a chicken salad. I just couldn't get enough of the lettuce. Like, oh my goodness, that lettuce hit the spot. You don't hear anyone say that. After they're done eating a chicken salad or a couple of eggs, like they're pretty satisfied. They're okay. They're chilling and they can just carry on with the rest of the day. Whereas more than likely, people tend to binge on the hyper palatable processed foods, the Oreos, the chips, the cookies, because they are quite literally engineered to make you want to eat even more. Right? And that's where most people tend to binge on their diet, right? No one binges on healthy food, fruits, veggies. Most people binge on processed foods, junk foods, right? And so going back to my client, Jeff, when we finally switched him to a whole food-based diet, which included lean meats, fruits, veggies, potatoes, just think of foods that only have one ingredient. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. It's like how many ingredients does one potato have? Just one. Right? Whereas how many ingredients does a potato chip have or a French fry? It has multiple ingredients. It's got the oils, the salts, the other flavorings. Same thing with an apple. How many ingredients does an apple have? Just one. Whereas an apple pie, I mean, it has a list, 10, 20, 30 ingredients, right? So if you can fill most of your diet with mainly single ingredient foods, you'll notice what Jeff experienced inside of our program. He went from overeating at night to saying to me that I'm actually struggling to finish my meals. Imagine following a fat loss diet that makes you lose body fat 1 to 2 pounds a week in a fun, sustainable way and actually struggling to get the food down. I mean, oh my goodness, sign me up. Sign me up because hunger will no longer be an issue for you. How amazing does that sound? As opposed to being so food focused all the time, right? Because most people, like I said, fail their diets due to hunger. And if you can just get rid of that hunger signal in your body, it just makes sticking to your diet so much easier. And here's the thing. You may be telling yourself, okay, Conan, like, fine, I'll follow the Barbarian diets, only whole foods, whatever, but it doesn't sound so fun. Like, I don't get excited eating broccoli, chicken. I see your meals on your stories every single day, and you seem to like really hype up your foods, but it's like, I don't think I could do that. Like I crave junk food, but here's the thing. Study after study has shown that we crave the foods we eat the most. And so if you're constantly eating junk food all the time, it's no surprise that you're craving junk food all the time. Whereas if you can just go through this 1 to 2 week period of just going through this diet, I don't even call it a diet, but just going through this eating habit of just eating minimally processed foods, at the very least 80% of the time, whole natural single ingredient foods, other 20% can be a bit more processed. But if you just allow your body to go through this process, I can guarantee you it may take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks max. Your taste buds will adjust and you will start to crave those types of foods. And so you guys may think that I am crazy for looking forward to eating my bowl of oatmeal every single morning, or my chicken and avocado meal and my veggies and my fruits, my veggies, all these things. But it's just simply because I eat those foods all the time. So I'm naturally craving those foods all the time, right? So not even studies have shown this, but I myself, I can prove it to you. All of my clients, right? They rarely crave junk food. They barely crave it because they don't eat it as often. It's not rocket science, guys. It is not rocket science. And as a result, going back to my client, Jeff, he dropped 55 pounds without feeling deprived. Now that right there, that is the difference, right? So moving on to point number 2, whole foods crush hunger and processed foods spike it. You can't outcount hunger, right? And here's what most people miss. Not all foods impact hunger the same. 2 meals might have the exact same amount of calories, but one can leave you starving in an hour, whereas the other keeps you full for 5 hours. As an example, I used to be a chubby kid growing up in the Netherlands, and every single morning I'd wake up, I wouldn't even drink water. I just wake up immediately, go downstairs, go into the kitchen, open up the pantry, open up the cupboard, and pour myself a nice, delicious, nutritious bowl of sugary cereal, whether it was Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, whatever we had in the house. I would literally start my day with that. And of course, like most kids do, right? But what I noticed as I got older, as I kept on eating this sugary cereal, it never really satisfied me. I ate a bowl, and then afterwards, I had a second bowl, because obviously, like, you pour the cereal in first, and then you pour in the milk, and then you eat the cereal. But then what you'll notice is that there's going to be some milk left over, and you do not want to waste the milk, right? And so what you do is that you pour your second serving of cereal. And by the way, if you look on the back of the package, it'll say 30 grams is 1 serving. No one actually eats just 1 serving of cereal in one sitting. No one does that. It is literally a handful. Like, if you were to actually measure out what 1 serving size looks like of cereal, which, yeah, is like 110 to 120 calories, depending on the cereal, around 30 grams, it is a tiny little handful. And no one, I repeat, no one, even your children, even your kids, even your siblings, brothers, whoever eats cereal, no one does that, right? We always have multiple servings in one sitting, and then we'll have another second serving to absorb the milk that is left over. So I used to start my morning every single morning with it as a chubby kid. And looking back in hindsight, no wonder I was fat. But here's what's even worse. Not even an hour later, I was hungry again. I'd get this huge spike in sugar, in energy, and dopamine, and then immediately after, it'd come crashing down again. And I'd be hungry. And guess what I would eat as a nice little 9 a.m., 10 a.m. nutritious snack? I'd have a muffin. I'd have a cupcake. I'd have a granola bar. Something quick, fast, and sugar once again. And that would tide me over for maybe another hour or two until lunchtime. And then I'd have like this white bread and cheese and ham sandwich, or I'd have like maybe some fast food, or I'd have like just more junk. And it just kind of repeats and repeats and repeats. And I was just constantly hungry. And I would constantly overeat because the foods I was eating never truly kept me satisfied. Whereas as I got older and I started to learn about nutrition and learn about how I can actually sustainably stay within my calorie deficit and stay within my diet, I switched the foods that I was eating from processed foods, sugary cereals, to more whole foods. I started eating more protein for breakfast, steak, eggs, chicken, protein oatmeal, foods that actually kept me satiated, foods with fiber. And guess what? I wasn't craving food an hour later. I actually felt satisfied. It actually kept me going until lunchtime. How amazing does that sound? Imagine eating breakfast and not feeling hungry an hour later and actually being able to just continue on crushing the day, not being food focused, not being hungry, not having your stomach growl, and over consuming on calories. Sign me up. Sign me the heck up. And so here is what I want to tell you. Whole foods have more protein, they have more fiber, they have more water, requires you to chew more of the food, which is a very underrated thing a lot of people don't even think about. Whole foods actually make you chew more of the food and has a lot more volume. Whereas more of the processed foods, right, they are engineered to, like, from start to finish, from the way they look, the way they taste, the way they smell, from the texture and consistency in your mouth. It has all been engineered by these scientists, these food scientists that just sit in labs and they study human psychology and human behavior of how can we make this food? How can we make this product as tasty, as hyper palatable, as addictive as possible? Because at the end of the day, you got to keep in mind that all of these food companies, they are a business, right? And so what is the goal of a business? It is to have recurring customers. It is to have reoccurring members, people constantly coming back for more. And how do you do that? Well, you create a product that is so good that people want even more, that they keep on coming back. Reoccurring, like it's almost like a subscription, right? Whereas if you were to buy food and it tastes horrible, like you right now, you go to a grocery store, you buy food, it doesn't taste good, you're not going to want to buy that food again. Whereas if you go to the grocery store, you buy food and it tastes really good, you're more than likely going to eat that food again, right? That is why all these sugary cereal companies, these granola bars, these cookies, these chips companies, Pepsi, Lay's, you name it, they make your product as tasty as possible so that you can keep on buying more of these foods, right? And so going back to what I said, these food companies literally engineer their foods to be like, from the moment it goes into your mouth, like the texture, like they got the crispiness, the crunchiness, the softness, just everything. They've thought it through, right? So once again, whole foods, they have more protein, they have more fiber, they have more water, they have more chewing, they have more volume. Whereas processed foods have higher calorie density. They have little fiber, they have tons of sugar and fat, and the hyperpalatable combination is designed to make you overeat. The food is designed to make you overeat. This is why you can technically still do the whole, if it fits your macros approach, 100% it works, but you'll lose your mind trying to do it. I got into fitness in 2014, and back during that time, the whole IIFIM, if it fits your macros, was huge. It was absolutely massive. I go on YouTube and I'd search up full day of eating videos, and all my favorite fitness influencers, they would show these full day of eating videos of them, like full day of eating if it fits your macros, flexible dieting approach, and they'd be eating like Lucky Charms, they'd be eating Fruit Loops, they'd be eating toaster waffles, they'd be eating just all this crap food. And technically, yes, it would still fit within their macros, but I tried that approach. And yes, it did kind of work for a bit. But then over time, I just had all these weird food cravings all the time. And I just was constantly craving these junk foods, basically. And yeah, I definitely had a lot more urges to want to binge on my diet because I was always eating these processed foods. Whereas once I switched to like more of a whole food based diet, all of my cravings disappeared. And I actually stayed fuller for longer. And I actually was able to stick to my calorie deficit for a lot longer. And my taste buds adjusted, and just my skin improved, my digestion improved, my sleep improved, my performance in the gym improved. Everything improved. My life got so much better, right? And so let me introduce to you the Barbarian diet, which makes you eat real foods that existed 1,000 years ago. So once again, you do not need to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. This includes foods such as eggs, steak, chicken, fruits, veggies, potatoes, avocados, rice, oats, just simple, natural, satiating foods. When you eat this way, I can guarantee you this: your hunger will drop, your cravings will disappear, your energy will increase, your bloating will vanish, your libido will skyrocket, and you will naturally, this is the good part, you will naturally eat fewer calories. This will literally mimic Ozempic. Literally, you do not need medication if you can just choose better quality foods. And here's where a lot of people go wrong. They'll take the medication, they'll take the Ozempic, but they will not fix their eating habits. They will not fix their diets. And so now you are relying on this medication. And once you get off the medication, guess what? You're just going to go back to your old eating habits again. You're just putting a Band-Aid on something without fixing the real cause of the issue. And that is why you see so many people, you see all these horror stories of people losing like all this like weight, but then they lose a bunch of muscle mass too, and they end up looking like frail and skinny. And then once their subscription ends because they can no longer afford it or whatever it may be, they actually end up worse. They end up in a worse position. So please fix your eating habits, fix your food environment, fix your diet. This right here will do far more good for you than relying on medications, than relying on Ozempic, than being on a subscription that keeps you hooked. It absolutely disgusts me how doctors aren't willing to actually teach you about basic nutrition and would rather just slap a Band-Aid on something without causing or fixing the root cause of the issue. And when you follow the Barbarian diet, you don't have to force being in a deficit. Like, you don't force anything. Your body just cooperates because it becomes increasingly more difficult. It's almost impossible to get fat eating mainly whole foods. And that is why I've been able to maintain six-pack abs year round, along with all of my clients, without trying that hard. Like, we don't try that hard. We're chilling. We're living life. We're enjoying it. And sure, like, you guys will, on Tuesday, actually, I'm going to be going out for sushi. I love eating sushi. I still eat out. Do you guys think I'm a robot? Heck no. I eat out maybe once a week because I love food. I'm a big foodie at heart. Like I said, I was a chubby kid growing up. I love food. I love pizza. I love, not burgers. I don't like burgers as much. They're kind of never really satisfied me, but I love pizza. I love sushi. Those are like my top two go-to. And I can still fit those within my diet. And I still eat those while maintaining my results using the Barbarian method, right? So to wrap up, one of my clients, Alexander, lost 50 pounds while working 60 hours a week with 2 children. Now, he did not have time for complicated recipes that you see on Instagram, right? It's like, oh, here's my high protein cottage cheese recipe that tastes like a brownie but requires 20 different ingredients and it takes 2 hours to cook. Like, no, none of that stuff. We don't have time for that. We're busy. We're entrepreneurs. We're working. Like, we don't want to be spending hours in the kitchen. Like, no, we don't have time for complicated recipes. And my client Alexander, he didn't have time to track everything perfectly either. But he ate just simple lean proteins. He ate veggies, he ate fruits, he ate potatoes, he drank his water, he got his steps in, and he did his strength training workouts. And he told me, I've never felt this full while losing body weight. That's the magic of just following a very simplistic approach. So moving on to point number 3, the Barbarian diet makes sticking to the deficit easy and not miserable. The reason my clients win isn't because we're doing anything magical. It's because the system reduces hunger. When you're constantly full, when you're satisfied, when you're stable in energy, when you're eating food that doesn't trigger binges, when you're not spiking and crashing your blood sugar, when you're not fighting cravings all day, it becomes easy. It becomes effortless to stay in a deficit. And you do not need to be disciplined. I say this every single time. You do not need more willpower. You do not need more discipline to get into shape. You just need to prime your environment to make the healthy choice the easy choice. You just need the right environment. If I were to go into your kitchen right now and I open up your freezer, I open up your fridge, I open up your pantry, and I am bombarded by chips, frozen pizza, leftover meals, frozen meals, just junk in your house, and I'm hungry, guess what is most convenient for me to eat? Unfortunately, it's going to be your hyper-palatable processed foods. Whereas if I were to invite you into my house, and you were to open up my fridge, my freezer, my pantry, my whatever, and you were hungry, guess what you're going to see? You're only going to be seeing my meal prepped meals, my frozen chicken breast, my frozen veggies, my apples, my bananas. I got some nut butter. I got some avocados. You're only going to be seeing that. So if you were to go into my house and you were very, very hungry, what will be more convenient for you to do? It will be most convenient for you to just microwave one of my meal prep meals and then eat it, right? It's all about designing your environments to make the healthy choice the easy choice. I do not rely on any willpower. I work long hours. I go to the gym, and whenever I'm hungry, I open up my fridge, I open up my freezer, I make my meal prep, and then boom, there you go. I carry on with the rest of my day. No thinking required, no willpower required, no motivation. Like I don't feel motivated to eat healthy, but it just boom there in my face. So I might as well eat it. I don't have any junk food in my house. I got rid of that years ago. I don't want to tempt myself. Why tempt yourself? Why would you have Oreos in your pantry? Why? If you want ice cream, don't have ice cream in your freezer, just in case. If you actually want ice cream, add more friction to it. Like make sure that, okay, I'm really craving ice cream. What do I have to do? Okay, I got to go outside. I got to go into my car. I got to drive to the ice cream store. I got to stand in line. And then I got to pick my ice cream. Okay, cool. At least there's a bit more friction involved, right? And you can actually like make an event out of it. Maybe you meet a couple of your friends and you make it like a date or something. Like add friction to the things that you don't want to be doing often and add less friction to the things that you want to do more often. Simple hack right there. Simple hack. So here's the Barbarian diet framework. Every single meal that you eat, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever. Protein comes first. Think of your chicken, steak, eggs, tuna. Then your fiber. Think of your veggies, berries, sauerkraut. Then water-rich carbs, potatoes, fruits. Then if you want, add some healthy fats. You need healthy fats. Fats are essential for your hormones, your testosterone levels, your libido, everything, your entire endocrine system. Avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, you name it. And then lastly, seasonings. Like, guys, season your food. I eat so much salt. I add salt to everything. Like I'm obviously running every single day. I'm lifting every single day. I get like 20,000 steps. Like I live a very active lifestyle. Like I need electrolytes. I need sodium. I need salt. I love salt. Do not be scared of salt. If you, at the very least, are just somewhat active, like don't be scared of salt. Like add salt to your meals. It just makes your meals so much better. Like my morning oatmeal, I add so much salt to that. I'm about to have my oatmeal like after this live call. Whether it's salt, garlic, spices, don't eat plain food. I may post pictures of my food and it may look a bit bland, but that is before I add the seasonings. You guys don't actually see the amount of seasonings I put into my food. It's actually ridiculous. If I were to take the average person and they were to like try one of my regular meals, they will probably be like, oh my goodness, Cohnan, like this is so salty. But like my taste buds have adjusted to that. And like I crave salty food. And I'm more of like a savory guy. Like I've never been like a big like desserts kind of sweet guy. I'm more of like a savory, salty guy. I like my salt. But yeah, definitely salt, pepper, add that to everything. Now this combination, right? It'll slow down your digestion. It'll stabilize your blood sugar. It maximizes your fullness. It keeps calories low naturally. And it makes fat loss predictable. It's not glamorous. It's not trendy. It's not what influencers will sell you for $29, but it's what works every single time. So let me illustrate this point by telling you a quick little story about two clients. So let's say client number one, he is the calorie counter. He tracked all year, lost 6 pounds, and gained it back every weekend. He was always hungry and always arguing with the MyFitnessPal app, the calorie tracking app. Whereas client number two, he was the barbarian. He stopped eating ultra-processed foods. He ate simple meals every single day. He did not obsess. He did not binge. And he lost 38 pounds in 16 weeks as a result. And now here's the thing. The calories of these two same people, these two same clients, were the exact same. But here's the difference. The hunger levels between these two people were nowhere near close. Client number one was constantly hungry, which is why he was constantly binging on his diet. Whereas client number two, he just made better food choices and he was never hungry and never felt the urge to binge on his diet. Quick little flex. I see a lot of people do their bodybuilding show, and you will see this immediately after. What do they do after their bodybuilding show? They binge. 10K calorie challenge. Hey guys, look at me eating this brownie. Hey guys, look at me eating this burger. Oh yeah, look at my abs. I did not have any urges to binge. Like I'm so behind on my content right now, but you guys will see exactly what I ate leading up to the show, what I ate during the show, and what I ate post-show. I did not binge on my diet. I did not feel the urge to binge on my diet. I just ate more of the food that I was typically eating leading up to the show because I enjoy my diet. Like I said, my taste buds have adjusted and I don't feel the need to binge. I don't feel the need to do a 10,000 calorie challenge. Why? That goes to show me that you have a horrible relationship with food and that you were depriving yourself for too long. And now I get it, like bodybuilding show is a completely different thing. And it's definitely not something that I recommend to any of my clients or to any one of you watching right now. But yeah, kind of different topic for a different story for a different topic. But to conclude this video, I'm going to wrap up right now. Counting calories tells you if you are in a calorie deficit. So yes, 100%. Counting your calories is important. But eating like a barbarian makes staying in a deficit 1,000 times easier, 10 times easier. And now, I don't know about you guys, but I would far much rather play the whole fat loss game on easy mode as opposed to playing it on hard mode. Like my entire life, I have designed it to be as easy and as fun and as sustainable as possible. I love my life. I love the way I have just designed everything, from the workouts that I do, to the foods that I eat, to the way I run my business, to the way I help my clients, to the content, to just everything. I wake up excited every single day. So I would far rather play life on easy mode than play it on hard mode. Whereas I see so many people, they just play it on hard mode and they don't even realize it. They're just so unaware. I'm like, dude, why are you making it so hard on yourself? It doesn't have to be that hard. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because if you rely on willpower, you'll quit. It is inevitable. It'll just be a matter of time. But if you rely on whole foods, you are going to win, my friend. And now that is why just counting your calories will not get you shredded, but eating the barbarian diet will. Now, if you are a busy, career-driven man who wants to drop 30, 40, 50 pounds in the next 3 to 6 months, look athletic again, and finally get your edge back, what you can go ahead and do is schedule a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially go over your current goals. We'll see exactly how much weight you're looking to lose, how much muscle you're looking to gain. We'll see exactly what's holding you back right now, whether it's the lack of time, lack of knowledge, lack of accountability, lack of structure, lack of everything. And then we'll create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush your goals in the next 3 to 6 months. Now, if that sounds good to you, like I said, link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all there. Peace.